you always say PCT, 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 PCT. I was like, the fuck is this guy talking about? Hey, I'm Fez. I'm in the tech space. I've worked with Iran for the past bit and here to discuss my journey.
So I know we were working together for a while and we had a pretty drastic fitness transformation where you lost about 40 pounds. And now your priorities obviously shifted. So before you wanted to lose weight, but now it's not so much about the weight. It's not so much about how you look in a mirror. It's more so about how you feel. Because obviously work has picked up a lot more. You have a team you're running now. There's a whole bunch of other responsibilities that you have, and you need the energy to be able to take care of everything. So can you speak a little bit more about that and what that's been like? Taking the shift away from I'm in this fitness thing to lose weight, I'm in this fitness thing to transform my body, and shifting to okay, I'm in this fitness thing now to just feel good about myself. I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, I think number one, like post, like the last time we spoke with this like kind of interview piece, we've shifted our goals from like obviously weight loss to like body composition, or like just like adding more muscle. How do I increase my strength now? I need my strength. How do I deal with now the fact that I've lost this much weight? How do I still grow? How do I build muscle in a sustainable way? And then the other thing was marathon training. So of course my goals shifted a little bit. I remember when I told you that it was a little bit of a change, but we quickly shifted over to I want to run marathons. And so together we've run. I guess I would say together we've run two with your coaching, and that was a lot more on like how do we build my VO2? Like how do I eat so that I'm recovering properly, and then all that kind of sums together into like just like generally having a better lifestyle. It's been kind of like maintenance of the lifestyle. It's been kind of how do we add more energy to my day, even if it's like I have pockets of time to eat. What am I eating this week? Those habits still stay there, and it's been like kind of like how do we make sure that I'm like making most of my months, my days. Like work is only going to pick up from now, and it's just kind of been like a good reassurance to know that like I can still perform. Like my performance is like the most important thing at work and outside of work. So lifestyle is the only most important thing to that. So yeah, that's basically where we've gone since then.
Cool. Yeah. So I think that's like super helpful background, and now we can kind of get into the rest of the logistics of like how the program has actually been.
Yeah, you always say PCT, 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 PCT. I was like, the fuck is this guy talking about? So I shouldn't swear, right?
It's all good.
Okay. This guy's PCT, PCT, PCT. That's all you say. So that was the first thing that got like nailed into my head. I mean, going back like to the beginning, I remember basically I had been training. It was difficult. I work like maybe like 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I was previously like had been like more on the athletic side. And I remember just one day specifically realizing that like I wasn't hitting my goals. Like it was kind of like a weird feeling because like in the past, like in school and stuff, like it was really easy for me to kind of like carve out time or even like be more intentional about like what I ate and all that stuff. But the body gets old and you get busier. And I remember specifically like wanting to just like be or feel like a new me. I don't know. I think that's what really changed my world. That was really the messaging that like drew me in was, working with like really, really busy people that have tried a bunch of different techniques in the past to kind of like lose that weight. And that's how it started in my brain was like losing that weight. But what I didn't realize was there was a lot of other things outside of just like losing weight that were really important. And the program or working with you didn't just like immediately focus on like, let's just, cut the pounds, go in a caloric deficit. It was very holistic in the sense that like going on this journey with you was like actually like about, first of all, like improving my habits, like improving sleep, like one of the cornerstone pieces.
Nutrition.
Tracking the right things. Like specifically tracking the right things. For me. protein, calories, training time, PCT or time in gym. And kind of having those as like the core pieces and like just actually watching as things kind of got easier with your program because of the fact that my overall mood and in general was just like getting better. So that's kind of like a start to like where we are now.
Yeah.
And obviously we did drop that weight, but among that was not just like a yo-yo swing back to like 60, which is what was happening with me before. I was just swinging up and down between weight and stuff. So
For sure. Well, yeah, that's awesome. And then how do you, now that you've been able to kind of establish, obviously, sustainable habits, you know what to track and you know why you're tracking it. How have you felt that just focusing on less has been able to give you more results?
the difficult thing is like I'm sure many people struggle with this is like there's so much information out there and it can be difficult to like know what to trust and specifically like what to track for your body. And obviously kind of having those three pieces like very simple protein intake, calories in, calories out, and then time in gym as like the three things that I track. Um, it's actually like simplified a lot of stuff.
For
And
sure.
because of that, it's become a lot less overwhelming. Where I think one of the big pitfalls with tracking right now, or like with the amount of metrics that are available to you in terms of like health data, is that like it can be really easy to like try to optimize for the wrong things and then end up in this like kind of weird start stop state.
The structure and how easy it was for you to kind of integrate it into your current routine and
It
schedule.
was surprisingly a lot easier than I thought it would be. Like almost like it kind of just fit right in. I think the biggest thing was penciling in those sessions with you and then like chipping away together. Like it was kind of like we were working together to like work with my schedule. Um, and really, again, going back to that PCT piece, like it kind of cut away a lot of like the extra mental thinking that I needed to do around like scheduling my day, etc. There was just these three simple things that we worked on, but that over time, like drastically, like it kind of compounded like very quickly over the course of like the program. So at the start, I would say like biggest thing was the mindset. You teach the mindset a lot. Those three things: PCT, tracking the right stuff, and then just as the program progressed, it almost felt like an exponential like curve, kind of like it kind of grew, and then boom, like things just started to click. So, um, it was never at all something where I was like, oh my god, I have to restructure my entire days, or like I have to like block off crazy times in my calendar, which almost I can't do. I can't afford that. So
Yeah. And I think one of the things that would be like super helpful for people to understand is, I guess, what your situation was like before we actually started, because I think a lot of people, they can understand, like the transformation, they can understand how everything works, but it's hard to actually apply it to their lives. So if you can give them like a pretty clear idea of like what you were going through before actually joining and what actually pushed you over the edge, like what was that deciding moment or deciding factor in your journey where you're like, you know what, I don't think I'm able to do this alone. I do need expert help to get to my goals that I'm not able to hit right now by myself.
yeah, I mean, I think it was like, I guess that like forcing change was like kind of just like a drastic life change, like relationship wise, right?
Yeah.
I think I wanted to feel like a new me,
Yeah.
almost. You start to slowly build bad habits. And so when those two things kind of clicked at the same time, where it was like I had been, you know, persisting these like bad habits for almost, years at that point, and then also like that drastic relationship change. It was just like, oh my god, like I need to find out in quotation marks like new me, and that's when it was like, I can't. It's not that I couldn't rely on myself, but like, it was like I wanted that like extra accountability, uh, and you know that's really what pushed me over the edge.
For sure. Okay. That's awesome. How do you find tracking this and implementing this specifically for your routine and your schedule and your career has been able to help you see improvements in any area?
Yeah, energy levels. Like you can just boil it down to that sentence.
Cool.
I wake up with a smile on my face, and it's not because like it's contrary to what I thought. It's not like I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, this is great. I'm obviously this is great, but it's a different level. Like your brain feels healthy. I feel
Yeah.
clean. Like and I feel that's like a weird way of expressing it, but like It's just that you don't realize like how much energy is like sapped because of like the habits that you have. And I think the biggest thing is like I've been like maybe like fucking 50% more productive at work, like something crazy like that. Like I've just
Oh,
been able to show up more in life because my energy is just back.
for sure.
Um, and it's so simple. It's so simple to track what I'm tracking, and it's really easy for me to course correct. That's the big thing because life happens. You have
Yeah,
stressful
for sure.
days, but getting back into that habit isn't hard because once you understand PCT and what to track, it's almost like a machine in your head that you can just turn on and be like, oh, get
Yeah,
back to that, which is never there before. And again, it's like there's the downward spiral which compounds, but there's also the upward spiral which compounds. And now it's really hard for me to break out of my healthy habits because I just don't feel good. I can feel it when I have a bad night, like a bad night of sleep, or I can feel it when I eat something that doesn't benefit me. All
for
right, I
sure.
don't get good digestion before sleep and all that stuff. So it's really kind of keeping me in that state, and I'm also able to like I guess athletically hit more of my goals. Like with the program, like I was able to like run 2 marathons, and that was like something that was like I've dreamed about, but like it was just too difficult. Like too difficult to get the energy to even train that much. So I'm going on my third in October, but and with the method, we're just going to keep pushing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was a really good, and I think a lot of people would be able to kind of put themselves in your shoes and kind of see how that would apply to their lives. So I do appreciate that answer.